The Greener Kew campaign is about a year, but what's happened is it worked here. With the exception of Tesco, all the shops signed up. But now the idea is to do a Greener upon Thames campaign, which covers the whole borough of Richmond. So like Barnes and Kew, all the way down to Ham, and everything in between. And that's what we're trying to do. Again, most of the independent shops, in fact all of the independent shops so far have signed up. And some of the supermarkets are thinking about it, but we've met a real block with Tesco. There's no willingness there at all to engage on this issue. So we're going to do a little trip to Tesco, and we're going to ask to speak to the manager and try and work out where Tesco stands on this issue of plastic bags. And here are the children, very impressive bunch. And when we get there, Isabel is going to ask to speak to the manager, and we hope the manager will come out and answer all these questions.
Do you support the Greener Kew campaign? If not, why not?
I think eventually Tesco is going to yield on this issue. Whether they do it this morning or not is another issue. Right. But I think, how the hell are you going to say no to these children? They're incredibly persuasive. They make a pretty powerful case.
We've been working on the environmental project now for several months. It's a whole school project, and these children are the future. They're the ones that will make the difference. And Zach coming to speak to us, they were totally and utterly inspired. And off their own bat, they went off to their local shops and demanded to know what were they doing to help the environment.
Well, if you want to buy 3 cartons of apple juice, you don't need the plastic over all 3. You could just buy 3 separately.
Happy Cola Haribo, you see that half of it is not actually used.
They've got a newspaper and a magazine, and they've just covered it in lots of plastic, like loads of just plastic.
And then
when
other
newspapers like this have got they might have magazines in them, but they haven't covered them in plastic.
Could I possibly speak to your manager at Tesco's?
Yes, you can.
So we're waiting here. So Zach, what are we doing now?
Have you asked to speak to the manager?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They'd love to speak to the manager. They've got questions about plastic bags and so on. Well done.
Right, hello. Film in here? You can't film in here. I'm not going to say anything. Can you turn that camera off?
They've come up with a list of questions.
Why does nobody want to speak?
Wait, you don't need to speak on the camera.
We're not allowed to speak for anyone. You
don't
have
need
to
to
speak
speak.
to head
You don't
office
need to
about
speak.
anything.
What we're doing is we're putting questions together. They've put questions together on their own, which they would like central office Tesco to answer.
Okay.
We know that you can't answer them, but they'd like to address the questions to you. And
I
if you
don't
could
mind
acknowledge
answering
them.
the guys' questions, but I'm not being on camera.
Well, initially I want to record the questions so we can send this to central office, because I don't believe that individual branch managers can do much about
but
it.
I can't do that then. I can't be on camera.
You don't need to
and
answer.
say anything.
If you just hear the questions.
If you know plastic bags are damaging our world, why do you continue to use them? Are you embarrassed that you are the only ones in Kew to still use them?
Do you support the Greener Kew campaign? If not, why not?
How would you feel if a Tesco bag was even one in the hundreds of plastic bags that killed the whale in the Thames a few years ago?
Tesco, are you aware of what damage you are causing the earth?
If every other shop in Kew does not use plastic bags, why do you? Do you want a brighter or darker future?
Are you allowed to answer any of those?
No.
So what do you suggest they do with these questions?
I'd suggest that you take it straight to Sir Terry Leahy.
Okay. But will you commit to passing those questions on to Sir Terry Leahy as well?
I can do that, yeah.
We'll do so. They'll write to Sir Terry. You'll do the same?
Yep.
And will you let us know how he responds to you?
Yes, I will.
Is that a promise?
If you can get me a copy of the questions,
Okay.
I'll forward that on, yeah.
Okay. We will now make sure we get an answer from Tesco headquarters. And this shop has very kindly agreed to do the same. So the questions will go now in 2 ways. The children will write to Sir Terry Leahy, the head of Tesco. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the shop will do the same. And then we'll see what we do with the information. But we've got to keep on pushing Tesco. And what these guys have done today, I think is brilliant. So congratulations to all of you. we were able to look at all the different products. It's not just a plastic bag issue, it's about packaging, it's about waste generally. It's not even just a Tesco issue, but the reason we're here at Tesco is that Tesco seems to be the least willing company to engage on this issue. The children were so charming in their questioning that we were not thrown out as quickly as I thought we would be, which meant that we had a really good opportunity to look around. But if this doesn't work, then we are, as you heard earlier, we're going to go off and see Sir Terry Leahy at Tesco headquarters. And hopefully all these children will come too, although they'll have left the school, we'll be doing it, and it will not be a school project at that point, it's going to be an environmental crusade. And we're all going to do it together.